Hi everyone. I hope you all are doing good. In my today's topic, I'm going to explain the Microsoft storage accounts, okay, and how it can be used for various purposes, basically. Okay. In this topic, I'm going to cover the concept of creating queues using our Microsoft Blob storage account. Okay, and for this, again, I'm not going to make use of the direct resource which is available on a Azure portal, but by simulating it on my local machine. Okay, so on my local machine I will create a storage account using the storage account emulator. Okay, and then I will try to create a queue and try to put a message and retrieve the message, basically. So let's start with this. So the first step is you need to install the storage account emulator, basically. Okay, and how can we do that? Okay, we have to run this command npm install, okay, -g, that is for global installation, Azurite is basically emulator which is being used to create the Azure storage account on our local machine. Okay, now simply install this npm install -g Azurite, and it will install all the required packages on your machine. Okay, once the installation is done, it will look something like this, guys. Okay, so as you can see, installation completed. So these many packages added. Okay, now how I can start the Azurite. Okay, just make use of this command. I will put it into the video description. Okay, Azurite hyphen that is silent location. Okay, you have to specify a location where you want to keep all the storage account related artifacts, like it may be a queue, it may be a blob, okay, a binary large object container, blob container, or it can be a table, Azure storage account table, whatever it may be. You have to mention a location where this emulator will keep those yeah, artifacts. So in my case, I have selected c:/azure write folder. So whatever files I upload, whatever queues I create, those will be stored over here. Like, okay, and then also I have mentioned how to specify the debug log, that is using --debug, that goes inside this Azure write folder. Okay, if something goes wrong, I can go through the log. Okay, do remember that making use of this kind of storage emulators on your local machine is just to help you debug your applications. Okay, you develop your application in such a way that it is foolproof tested using this kind of emulators, but once they enter into integrated environments, never make use of this kind of emulators. Those integrated environment applications will straight away make use of physical or actual Azure storage accounts which you create into your Azure subscription. Okay, well, that's it. So after running this command, what I got is Azure Blob service is starting at this particular IP address, which is a local host, that is my machine 127.0.0.0.1 loopback address at 1000. Now queue service is started at same local host, 10,001, and then the table service is started at localhost with the port number 10,002. Okay, so now all my services are up and running. Now what I will do is I will go and write a simple program, okay, using which I will establish a connection to this local emulator. I will try to put some messages, I will try to read some messages, and I will also try to delete the queues. A very straightforward example, basically. Okay, I found this in one of the MSDN documentation. Okay, just to demonstrate this. Okay, so if you see, the most important thing we need to understand regarding this code snippet is that we have a dependency on a nugget package called azure.storage.queues. Okay, this nugget package is compulsion in order to make use of storage account queue programming. Okay, so you must install this nugget package, as I have done that. And yeah, I can see that under the packages. Yeah, azure.storage.queues. Okay, great. Once that is done, go to the main program. Okay, it should be of async task because we are running asynchronous operations to read and write to the queues. Now, most important thing is that we need connection string to our storage account. Okay, and how do we get this connection string? Microsoft has provided a wonderful tool called Microsoft Azure Storage Explorer. Okay, now using Microsoft Azure Storage Explorer, you can connect to an actual Azure Storage account hosted in your subscription or on Azure portal itself, or you can connect to a local emulator running on your machine. In my case, I'm running a local emulator. So when I run my Azure Storage Explorer, it will automatically detect the emulator with default ports, okay, which is on my local machine. Okay, so if you see, there are three services running as you saw over here: the blob service, the queue service, the table service. Okay, so in this case, you can see all three services related sections are here. Okay, now under blob containers, I have created one folder called docs. Okay, blob containers are basically meant for storing your files, any kind of file. Okay, so what I did, I had uploaded one file to test this, so it's working fine. Okay, with respect to file management, I will explain in my next video, which is specifically meant for blob containers, but the focus of this video is dealing with queues. So what I did was basically I created a queue by name my queue. And how we create queues? Simply right click and select create queue. Okay, so this will allow you to create a queue on your local emulator. So give any meaningful name. Okay, and there is one rule: you can't use uppercase name. Just see what happens now. Say queue names must only contain lowercase letters, numbers and hyphens, and must begin and end with a letter or a number. The name cannot contain two consecutive hyphens. Okay, so do remember this and give a meaningful name. Say message queue. Oh no, no uppercase, so I will say hyphen q. Okay, it should create a queue for. See, the storage explorer is able to interact with my local emulators, the storage account emulator, and it is showing me what all things are available. Okay, in my newly created queue. So I can add a message from here, but it doesn't add any value because I want to achieve this programmatically, because real-time applications will deal with queue in terms of your application code, but not by this kind of interactions of creating queues by manually. In very rare cases we do that, but most of the time it should be done programmatically. Well, that's said. Now let's go to the program now. So okay, I need to extract the connection string basically. So this is when you select click on the my queue, you see one URL. This is not your connection string in Azure Storage Explorer. So where will you get that connection string? Basically you have to click on this emulator default ports. Okay, now these are all hidden. So if you make it visible or unhide, can you see the primary connection string? Simply copy this connection string. Okay, it will automatically generate a storage account key for you. Okay, because this is a kind of simulation which you are achieving by using this emulator. Okay, so copy this connection string to your local emulator and put it over here. And how the connection string is structured, this is not like your DB connection string. If you see here, you have to mention an account name. Okay, in my case this is a local account, this is the local storage account which my emulator is running on basically. Okay, so this is the account name that yeah, the system has automatically picked, or you can provide whatever you want when you create your local storage account. Okay, you can see the properties. I will go through that soon. Okay, the fun that is set. So my local account name is dev storage account one, and account key, this storage account explorer, or my sorry, my emulator has automatically generated a key for me, not storage explorer. This emulator has generated a key automatically for me. Okay, then then comes the third. This connection string should always be in key value pair format. So key value and then semicolon. Yeah. So something like DB connection string only, but only thing is here it will contain the account name, okay, and the account key. And then comes the various other settings like default endpoints protocol. Okay, as I'm running in emulator, so I'm making use of HTTP protocol, but when you actually run with the actual storage accounts, you should interact on HTTPS. Okay, so do keep that in your mind. So default endpoints protocol is HTTP, and if you see blob endpoint, okay, the blob endpoint is localhost 1000, okay, slash my account name. Q endpoint, the port number is 10001, and then the storage account name, and also the table endpoint if you are creating some tables. I will go through other examples like the blob endpoint as well as table endpoint in my next videos. Okay, let's concentrate on queues for today. So the next step is we have to construct a queue client object which basically interacts with your storage account or with your queue associated with your storage account. So queue client queue equal to new queue client. This basically queue client object is coming from this namespace, that is azure.storage.queues. Now pass the connection string, that is this one, and then if there is already created or predefined queue, pass its name over here my queue. And I have programmed them in such a way that if there is argument given to this program while running this console application, if I pass some arguments, that argument will be treated as a message and put into my queue. Okay, so I will show that quickly. As you can see, this is my program, the console application, and application arguments. I have put one argument that hello, I'm Manoj. Okay, so this message should be put into my queue now. So what it does, if the argument's length is greater than 0, then simply it will go to this method. And what it does, if the queue already exists, okay, if the queue already exists, what it does, it will sends the message. Otherwise, the queue will be created. See the method here. The queue, the whatever object we constructed or passed over here, that's the queue client basically. Yeah. Now, what it does is, if it exists, it will send the messages. Okay, it will skip this part. But if it doesn't exist, okay, what it does is simply creates that queue for us. That is create if not exists async. This is really a nice feature given by the APIs itself. Okay, from the storage account side. Okay, so that's it from that message. That method basically. And if you go through the retrieve next message, yeah, if there are already some messages added into your queue, then what this method does is simply it will check whether the queue exists or not. Then if it exists, it will extract the queue properties. And what are the queue properties? There are various queue properties basically. Okay, so one such property is approximate message count. If there are any messages associated with the queue, then it will checks if those approximate messages count is greater than 0. If there are messages available in the queue, then it will start reading those messages or receiving the messages. So what it does, it will receive the message. Okay, that is a queue message object, an array of queue message object. Okay, and then from each queue message, or in this scenario I'm reading only the 0th queue message body basically. So retrieved message of 0 to body dot to string. Okay, and then what it is doing, then it is deleting the message basically. After reading, we have to delete the message. That's how queue works. Okay, it's like enqueuing and dequeuing. Okay, um, well, that's it. That is the purpose of this method. And yeah, if there are no messages, it will simply put the queue is empty. Do you want to delete it? If you want to delete, say yes. Otherwise, enter any character. So pretty simple program basically. Now I will run and we'll see what happens. Okay, at when I was running this program, as you can see, the application arguments has been set to hello Manoj. Just put something and save it and run it. And Now it is saying that sent. What message? Hello, I'm Manoj there. So this is the message I had entered, or I had provided as a command line parameter. That's why it has been read and sent to the queue. Now if I come to my storage account explorer and click on my queue, okay, and if I refresh, can you see there is a message, enter the queue, hello, I'm Manoj there, and already there are two messages waiting to be read. Nobody has read it. So what I will do is now I will remove the command line parameter from my program. So if I don't pass any command line parameter to this program will read the existing messages in your queue. A simple program that has been created for demonstration purpose basically. So if I run it, so I should see received, hello, I'm Manoj. Can you see? Now it was able to receive a message here. And let's run it once again and verify. Okay, received, hello, I'm Manoj. Once again, press enter. So I will press enter. Now if I go to my queue and if I refresh, can you see two messages are disappeared because after reading I'm basically dequeuing the queue or deleting those messages. Okay, so only last message which is left with is hello, I'm Manoj there. So now if I run once again, I should see that message now. See, hello, I'm Manoj there. Okay, now that was the last message. And if I go to the storage account explorer and refresh, see, there are no messages available in the queue. And if I run the program once again, see the behavior. See, the queue is empty. Attempt to delete it, yes or no? I don't want to delete, so leave it. Let it be there. The queue was not deleted. So this is how we can basically emulate a storage account on our local machine. Okay, I'll put this commands for your usage, guys. Okay, in order to set up a local storage account on your machine and deal with the various services provided by your storage accounts, like it may be a blob service to upload files, queue service as explained now, and table services in order to create tables in your storage account. Okay, I hope you people have understood the concept of using this kind of emulators on your local machine. It will, this kind of setup will basically fasten your development. Okay, you can develop your functionalities quick, and then you can pass them to your integrated environment and be rest assured that it must work. Uh, that's it from today's session. Okay, I hope you people would have understood this concept, and yeah, definitely it will help you in your day by day development. Okay, so thank you for listening, and have a nice day.